there's let's just dive in. How often are we naked in a locker room full of males looking at my junk? How often is this? I'm gonna tell you. Zero times. When I used to work at Planet Fitness, work out at Planet Fitness, nobody ever looked. Nope, we all turned around. They could see my butt probably, but they weren't looking at my junk. 2, I got kids. I got a gym in my garage, and I'm at home working. I'm not going out to just go to a gym to be naked around guys to see if they know I'm a dude or not. All joking aside, it is super weird that people go with these super vulgar examples that have no association to do with actually being a man or not. I have plenty of cis guy friends who see me as a man because they know who I am and how I present myself. And I trust them when they tell me that they're a man. For all I know, the cis guys in my life are trans too and just didn't tell me.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about a pretty profound confession that I ran across here from this biological woman, aka trans man TikToker, who's going to break down in tears when she finds out that being a man is hard and that nobody cares about your feelings when you are a man. Okay, being a man is tough, right? And again, this TikTok I think is very profound because I think it really does speak to a lot of the cultural issues that we have in society, and it's very deep. I mean, it really is. So I want to react to it, but before I get into it, I just want to remind you guys, if you like my channel, you want to support my channel, you can check out my new merch. Some of you guys have been asking about the new shirts that I've been wearing. For example, the fat phobic shirt that I have on right now. It's available at my website, gforemanbcp.com. You can get 20% off using discount code TEAMBCP. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it.
What's wrong? What is it?
How I love being a woman.
Nobody told me how lonely being a man is. I had closer friendships with random women I met in the bathroom before I transitioned at clubs because of how open women are than I've had in my 8 years of transitioning. Because women are just so much more vulnerable and deep than men. But to have known, and I think a lot of trans men feel this, is we knew what depth felt like before we transitioned. We knew what it felt like to have people want to hug us. And to have people want to talk to us. And to have a community. And then you transition and you're just a guy walking down the street that people cross the street so that they're not near you. And friendships are so much harder to build. And people are colder. What's hard is none of this invalidates how real and raw women and people who are in marginalized groups feel about cis white men. All of that's valid. But I also now understand why the suicide rate is so much higher in men. Because this shit is lonely. And I'm an emotionally mature man. I know how to build friendships, and it is still really, really hard. Try to think about how you can, in your small little community where you feel safe, can reach out to the men in your life and just help them feel maybe seen for a moment. Or do little conversations to help their emotional maturity so that they can reach out to people and have deeper guy friendships.
Just saying. It's kind of hard to believe that trans male was actually once a woman, I guess. I mean, I guess technically still a woman, a biological woman, biological female. But even after obtaining white male privilege, right, the mythical white male privilege, this person found out that, hey, life is really hard as a guy, as a man, because nobody gives a F about how you feel. Nobody wants to be friends with you. Nobody wants to reach out to you. You are emotionally isolated, okay, as a man in modern society. This is an emotion that a lot of men feel, okay? We are emotionally isolated. But because this person is actually really a biological woman. Therefore, because we're different, you know, hormonally, things like that, they're more relational and emotional and empathetic in nature. And they're not equipped to deal with this type of loneliness, okay? Like, this person clearly has their biology kind of overriding all the drugs and the hormones that were pumped into their body when it comes to the experience of being a man or living as a man, because now they realize that, oh, wait, because I'm presenting myself as a man, I look like a man, okay? And people see me as a man, they're treating me like a man. And as a woman, this is not right, okay? Because I'm actually really a woman. This is not right emotionally for me. This person's having a hard time coping with the reality of being a man and how hard it is to truly be a man, because, again, nobody gives an F, okay? Nobody is trying to really, you know, connect with you or to check in on how you're doing, to care about your feelings. And I'm not saying that people necessarily have to, but again, because men are men, for the most part, most of us can handle it. However, there are men out there, like this person mentioned, that can't handle it. And that's why the suicide rate for men is so much higher than it is for women, because quite simply, it's just more difficult and tough to be a man in modern society. Now, if you listen to the social scientists, they'll say, well, part of it's because of the stereotype of the strong masculine man doesn't need to talk about his feelings and emotions, right? That's what they say, okay? And that is the reason why, you know, men don't seek help when we're having mental issues like anxiety or depression or whatever. It's a stigma for men to openly talk about their feelings and stuff like that. And there may be some truth to that, right? There's no doubt that there's probably some truth to that. But I still think that there's a fundamental difference between how people interact with women versus how they interact with men in society, just in general. Okay, a woman just looking good, she's gonna get things handed to her. She's gonna have life be so much easier for her as a woman, and it's gonna be much easier for her to build deep emotional connections with people, because people are going to want to connect with her simply in virtue of the fact that, you know, she's a woman for the most part. Okay, again, I'm not saying that's true for all women. And just like, you know, when it comes to men, I'm not saying that, you know, men don't have friends or men don't build relationships, or that some of us don't have or need deep conversations and emotional connections. But, you know, men, when it comes to, you know, relationships, right, you can just be hanging around with your boys or just a random group of dudes and you can have fun, but the conversation always stays surface level, okay? Nothing too deep, nothing too emotional, okay? Nothing too traumatic, right? Nothing crazy, because, you know, you're into sports or you're into some of the same hobbies or shooting or whatever, right? Like, you might have that conversation as a man with a group of guys that you met out or whatever, right? And you don't even know the dude's name at the end of the night, okay? But, you know, if this is a girl, and I've actually experienced this when I was in a relationship, you know, my girlfriend will meet a new girl or whatever, and they have each other's numbers, right? They know a whole lot of stuff about each other before the end of the night. Way more than I knew about, I don't know, the guys that I met that night, right? Like, I mean, that happens so often, okay? You're probably less likely to, again, to develop a type of deep relationship with somebody, or to have the deep conversation, or to develop the sense of community that I believe that women develop with each other. I think it's a lot easier for women to develop those things than men. But again, men, in my opinion, are kind of hardwired to deal with the loneliness, okay? Like, for example, you know, might get up, leave the house, and go out for a drive, right, by myself, and just think about life. You know what I'm saying? I do that all the time, okay? Like, it's something that it doesn't bother me, because I feel like I'm built for it. But this person clearly is not built for it, okay? If you want to believe them in their TikTok, they're a woman trying to live life as a man just to find out that they're not emotionally equipped to actually be a man. That biology overrides drugs, right? Biology over drugs, biology over everything here, okay? And it really is fascinating, because this is a very powerful, like, message, and it kind of touches on, again, a lot of issues in society that aren't necessarily good, that we probably don't talk about enough, okay? Especially when it comes to men's issues. And that's why you have seen you know, a lot of these different communities pop up on the internet, whether that be Red Pill or Manosphere or whatever, is because men's issues and needs have been secondary to that of women. Okay, society has always tried to appeal to a woman's emotional needs. Okay, because again, they're a lot more emotional, right? They're a lot more emotionally needy, and men have been ignored. However, because society is changing, men, we don't really go to war anymore. Okay, we don't fight like we used to. Women have gotten their independence, right? They're able to, you know, get jobs and to be the boss and to do this and to do that. I think a lot of men are definitely feeling underappreciated, right? For being a man. And I think that people take for granted how hard it is to be a man. But all that is to say, that doesn't mean that you're supposed to boohoo, whine, and cry about it, right? You're supposed to either deal with it or, you know, hey, some people can't. But I'm just saying, like, at the end of the day, this person right here who is supposed to be a coach, right? He's supposed to be a life coach for people transitioning, I believe. You need to man up, right? You need to understand as a man, you can't be on the internet boohoo, whining, and crying about how tough it is to be a man, okay? Nobody told you to put drugs in your body and to put your life on hard mode, right? Nobody told you to do that, okay? You chose to do that as a man. So, hey, I have to treat you as a man. I have to talk to you like a man and tell you to suck it up, right? And deal with it, right? I mean, because that's what you're supposed to do as a man. But again, you know, I always find these TikToks from transgender men about how hard it is to be a man, whether it comes to just, you know, establishing, you know, friendships and just being a man in general. Like this TikTok, there was another TikTok that I reacted to a long time ago about this woman that transitioned to a man and had the toughest time dating women, right? And I was like, yeah, again, welcome to the world of a man, right? It is tough, okay? It is tough. But, you know, you just got to suck it up and deal with it. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.